So it's working on the ground controls. No leaks. So that means it's something in the separate pack. It's not these four. It's something in this pack. These should control the boom operations.
So I originally thought one of these blocks was leaking, and it still could be the issue, but we were hitting it left yesterday, and I think I got some of it on film, and this main hose right here was the one that was shaken, you know, shocked with the hydraulic system. And it's possible that it has a hole up in here, but I can't really see. We did chase it through here. I believe it's this one right here, which I chased that back. And it comes into the engine bay and is one of these main hoses right here. This one was replaced by the previous owner, and this is a main hose, which would make sense a little bit why it's leaking so much when you drive, but it doesn't make sense that it feels like it's coming off the hydraulics. This line here, I believe, goes down to the steering. This line here and this line here. These skinny lines, but the leak is not in the line down there. It is in fact, I believe, right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna poke around in here a bit, move some stuff around, see if I can't visually confirm that that's the leak. It's tough. It's a tough, it could honestly be another one of these two, like this one, this little guy. So I'm gonna have to get in here and sort of wipe stuff off, pull those hoses out, and we'll see if it is that one or not. And then that drive motor, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet. I might try hooking it back up, see what happens. All right, I'm gonna set up like 2 cameras, and we'll see if we can catch it on video. It might not be that hose. There was like a little burr in there, but. Had a thought. Pulled off the left steering. I'll let that drain just a little bit, but I'm going to zip tie it to the shaft there, fire it up, hit the left trigger, and you guys tell me if we get anything. I'm wondering, I don't know where it's coming from back there, but I'm wondering if it blew the O-ring out because something here. So I'm just trying to learn. Alright, so I don't know if that proved anything besides getting everything soaked in oil. There's a chance there was something stuck in there, but I'm gonna hook it back up. We know it's that one though, because I was hitting left, so baby steps. We know this is our problem hose. Yeah, it sucks, I can't find it. I might just go back and watch the footage. Maybe I could see which direction it's spraying from. We could do an electrical test. I could pull them off one by one. I got this camera I've been using, but it's so hard to see. I need to like do this while someone's hitting the trigger. Alright, so we're back working on the Manlift. It's probably a month since the last video. We've been trying to find that leak that's behind this manifold. The problem is you have to trigger it from the basket. So I've had other people over here triggering it, that shine flashlights in here, and we still can't see where the leak is coming from. Can't tell if it's a hose that's buried under there or from the manifold itself. It's possible the manifold split on the left turning function, but there's no way to tell from what I can see unless we pull it out. So I'm at that point, so I bought some colored zip ties. I'm going to label each of these electrical connections. There's 8 of them back here, We got a hose on top, we got more electrical here, and then we got 8 hose connections on this side. So I've got the boom blocked up right so it won't fall, of course. So what we'll do is we'll take like a yellow and a yellow, put it on the hose and the fitting, and we'll take a photo and that way we'll know where it goes. So. And I also bought some cap for when we pull the hose off so we don't get any dirt in the system. And this is one of those tasks that I didn't look forward to doing, but once we get there, it won't be that bad really. Alright, you guys get the idea. Early morning, finally got the last hose off, and now I'm finally ready to bring this block out. But before I do, I want to make sure that I have all the fittings covered, and it's still got a little bit of leak. I got a catch pan below. I'll have to tighten up all these hoses because this is holding back pretty much all that hydraulic tank. You know, it's got 15 gallons in it, or maybe 10 now. So this block should be loose now, except for the electronic. I'd like to label the electronics too, but I couldn't get to it before. So let's see if we can wiggle this. Seems fair. At this point, I think I might just take all these fittings off. Alright, let's get this on the bench. Hey, what's up guys? So we got the block, the manifold out of the Manlift. Now, I was just sitting up down, I got a headache, as I usually do when I come home from work, typical migraine. I'm like, I can't work on anything today, I can't. And my wife's like, you gotta work on something pretty much. So I was gonna build this out like a parts washer, but I think what I'm gonna do is take some of this degreaser first and squirt this down. Now I don't want to start pulling these off. This is the back side of the manifold right here. I didn't want to start pulling it apart. Oh, that's strong. If it was gonna, you know, get crap all over the place, so figured I'd soak it down, let it sit for a minute. I'm gonna go over it with this brush, try to get some of the grit off. I don't know if it's gonna work. I really need a parts washer. Thought about buying one for this and for the backhoe head. I don't really have space for it is the problem. So we'll try this quick. I think compressed air is gonna be the trick. It's like really gritty. It has a lot of sand and stuff in it, and I do have some open ports because I ran out of caps. I might buy some more of those. I don't know what I'm doing, guys, is what I'm saying. Just trying to get something done, so thought I'd bring you along. Oh, lens fogged up. It's so humid. I'm gonna do one at a time if I can. I might have to soak these. Let's see. And I believe this is just an electric solenoid, so I don't believe this to be leaking. If that's the case, I probably shouldn't even take this off, but something's leaking. A big chunk just fell out. I feel like I can't get this clean enough. It's like not like it's like not even the grease. Like I hit this with brake cleaner, it's like grit, which is the scary part. There's an O-ring here. Looks to be okay. I think what I'm going to do is put these right back on. I can always pull it back apart and take that O-ring off, I guess. Now that one is pretty rusty actually in there. rustier than the first one. Found no documentation on this, nothing. It's a long lost art, just like other old equipment where everyone who worked on it has left us. What sucks is if we don't find the culprit, we'll be forced to put it back together again, or I've got this whole freaking thing, change every seal. Guess we'll keep going. Man, if I had a rebuild kit, I would not be afraid of doing that. Get behind door number 1. As Diesel Creek would say. A lot of schmoo in there. Alright. Everything's been tight too, that's another good note. Getting some oil in my bolt holes, so there's still the passage into here, but I take that whole block off. So the theory now is it's this or this, but I don't trust that. Or it's between the seals, so I have to take this block off, then this block off through these, and it's like a flathead that's definitely rusted. I don't know, guys. Alright, so after much thought and this sitting here for a while, I believe I know what the issue is. I am 60% certain. This hose here is the one that flexed whenever I hit the left steering operation. It's coming from this block, which I didn't test electrically, to try to find the trigger. If you look down here, you can barely see it, but there's a split right where my finger is, right there, which is right where the leak was coming from. And I believe this hose is a steering hose because it goes under and to the front here. And I think it goes to here, which pairs down to under the frame. And I think those are the steering hoses here. And it's leaking a ton, which is coming from the pump. I don't understand how all the hydraulics work, but if I had a sketch, it would probably help. I could probably figure it out, but I could also probably draw it by hand, but that's a lot of work. So that's my theory. So it's a longer hose, but I think if we start by, it's a longer hose, but it should be easy to get out. So I'm gonna start by pulling this off, cap that, cap this hose, and chase it back through and see, get a better look at that crack, and then I'm just gonna go replace it at this point. And then hopefully I can get this back together, because it's been 2 or 3 months and I can't exactly remember how it all went together. So, and I didn't label the wiring very well. That's total miss on my part. So, but it's been sitting here for too long. So let's do it. All right, got some new hoses. Put a cap on the end. We're gonna chase that one back through under the engine straight over. So let's do it. All right, I got this hose through. I had to run a string line through there to pull it through, but always cap your ends when you're pulling it. These cap kits, I'll put a link below. They're actually pretty cheap on eBay, Amazon. Worth it. You don't want to be taping stuff. You could put duct tape on it, but it's not worth it. So that one goes here, and I think I'm just gonna go on top of all this mess instead of trying to weave through it. I'm gonna try to tuck this one up in that corner. But another quick trick, see this one here goes under this other hose, and so I made sure that they weren't touching. So I ended up having to swing that back a little bit and then tighten it. That's how they rub through when they're touching, but some of it is inevitable. I mean, if I was tearing this off from scratch, which is a huge undertaking, I'd probably buy a machine at that point to crimp. But I might try to separate each one with like a zip tie, like 2 zip ties, then you put a zip tie between them so they don't rub. But at this point, it's not worth it. So something else is gonna break on this machine. Well, hopefully not. All right, so the new hoses, these are from Napa. If you have a pro account, they apparently discount you too. But they haven't shown me the discount, but apparently I'm getting a discount. Still expensive. I got this hose and this short one here. It was like $130, so it's still not cheap. But all right, so let's pull this cap off. Now, most of the wrenches used for hose are going to be in this size. They go all the way down to 9/16, 7/8, all American for this machine. I put that on there tight. 7/16, 15/16, 13/16, 3/4. Get the idea. We'll pull that off. Put that on. Okay, so we got that one on, and then I got this one on here. That black one back there. I ran it behind the wires so I wouldn't have trouble plugging it in. And I also got these two made. I had a theory they were also on the steering system, and they have some weird like cracks in them and stuff, so they're just 2 short ones. One goes there and the other one is there, so I gotta look at my phone to remember which one goes where. Oh no, wait, did I put a weight thing on that one? I have to remember that because that goes to the main block. I think this one goes here because it's shorter. Yeah, but let's put these on, and then I'm just gonna freaking put the block back in. Like, just start over. We're just gonna put it in, see if we can figure it out, see if we can get the wires figured out. We're just gonna see what happens. I gotta pull this back again. I had that pulled back. All right, this is such a mess. 2 little guys are on. It's just easier to show you when I'm done. You guys know how to put hoses on. All right, so now I'm gonna try to clean this up somehow so I can put that block back in. And I need to put a yellow one here and a white one here on my tags, because before I forget, because they correspond to something on the main stack. So I carried this thing back over. I had to straighten all these out because I bent them last time. I was afraid of them breaking, but they all straightened out pretty good. Some of these I didn't have caps for. I ran out of caps. But some, like this is like the yellow and the white. Those are those 2 short ones. I've tried to clean this thing up. I kind of gave up on it, to be honest with you. If I had a tank, it'd be a little easier. And then I think there's one up here that goes, yeah, that one goes on. We're gonna put it back in. And I pulled these apart, I retightened them all, so. Spin it around, put it back in. That bracket bolts on top here. With these bolts, we won't worry about that just yet because it's easier to put it all together first. Now, I didn't label some of the hoses, so I think there's some more adapters actually. I might have to go rewatch my video. I've got 2 adapters. Got done dinged up. Well, if it leaks, we know it's this bottom one because there's a ding there. Okay, so I went through my photos and I had where all these go, but I remembered why I took these off because it fits in there better with them off. I didn't have one for this bottom one, and there's a ding on it. Let's see how easy that comes off. Ah, it's on there good. It's so tight in here with these hoses, and I know I'm going to be in here in the future, so it's like killing me to think about like I know this isn't gonna go back together for the last time. But regardless, I texted my buddies. They think there's a ding on this fitting. They think it would probably leak, so I'm not putting this back in tonight. I'm gonna pull this off, try to get a new one. Might as well look at the other ones back in. I think that's the key. I just gotta pull some of these off, and it'll be much easier. Alright, so we're gonna pull that fitting off.
Yeah, it's coming right where my hand is back here. It's where it's spraying up on this side, but it's also spraying on that side too. So it's got to be. It's right in here somewhere. It's where, you know, it's got to be like a hose that's just bad there. Now, if you,
I'd start changing every hose.
I was gonna say, can you start if you pull hoses out?
Yeah.
You have to do them one at a time, right?
Yeah.
And then see if they have any cuts on them.
That wasn't doing anything, so that must be my dead one.
Yeah.
Or we didn't hit that function. But I also probably have an issue because it wasn't going up.
Yeah.
Or booming. So
Right.
But that seemed like electronic because it didn't trigger anything, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like right here, you know,
Yeah.
like where my finger is, because it's hitting both sides. So it's got to be.
That'd be a hose.
It's got to be a hose. It's still back in here.
I'm wondering if it's this block here shooting out. I'm kind of tired of this thing right now.
Would it be of any benefit? How about I just like
That maybe.
yeah, I can see. Let's do it like that.
Okay. Hey, what's up guys? Back on the Manlift. I found the leak. It's one of these two hoses here. These are the steering hoses and they go to that center block. So I'm gonna fire it up and make sure which one, pull it through, get a new hose, and then we'll put this all back together. It's amazing what a clear head can do to figure out issues. Alright, thanks. Alright guys, so I have in my hand the last hydraulic hose that will go on this machine for a short time period until we blow all the other ones. But we have it. It was $60, which is a lot more than I expected, but I'm trying out a new hydraulic shop. Told me they're cheaper than Napa, but I don't know, I think this would have been like $50 at Napa. Let me know how much you guys pay for hydraulic fittings and hoses, and if you recommend buying a crimper, I might do that. But I have a string in there, chased, so we'll block the end of this off and then chase it back through, hook it up, hook up the two other hoses, and then fire this up. So before that I gotta raise this thing up in the air and block it off to work on it. Famous last words. Oh, and I also found that if I pull the choke, because the automatic choke thing isn't working, same with the automatic throttle, we'll get to that at a later date, but If I pull the choke back, it fires up like right away. Watch this. Next time I'm excited to work on it. I have not been excited before this. Here's our line. I'm going to cap it, pull it back through. Always pull your hoses from the straight end too, not the 90. So I'm going to pull this back, and I routed it as such because this will get caught on everything if you don't. I found an easier way than the path of this yellow snake. Sometimes that's easier. I found a little pocket. Alright, I gotta wipe it off there. Got all dirt. I might actually put some air to it. Oh, lots of birds. It's starting to get a little dark. Let's see if we can get this on film. Got all my hoses in, all my wires in. Actually, I'm gonna want to leave this open. I'm gonna fire up and that one wheel's still locking up and sliding pretty good. But heck, I'm pretty happy with that. I think maybe the tires were just slipping because it was going uphill. It was just skin rubber. But I'm thinking about cutting more grooves in those tires so they're a little bit better in the mud. Obviously I don't want to go too crazy, but oh, I'm so happy. I have a Manlift. It works. Alright, I'll show you guys more in the daylight, but this is night of repair. Alright, later. Alright, what's up guys? So we're going to put this through its first job, official job. We're going to paint one of my windows on the house. And so I bought another 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid. I did actually measure the hydraulic tank, and it's measuring a 45-gallon tank. So I've been buying the 5-gallon things at $42 each, so you can do the math. And 9 times 42, it's like $360, $400 to flush it. I think I am going to crack the bottom of it open, drain out if there's any water, but not today. I just kind of want to get a better feel for everything working today. I know that my swing didn't work when I put everything back together, and that was actually kind of nice because it didn't do the sporadic swing. I could just line up. Yeah, so let's put 5 more gallons of hydraulic fluid in it and drive it around a little bit. but I've already found an issue, and what it is previous guy tied off the throttle with this wire just at full throttle, and I've known this since the beginning. This isn't a surprise, but what this is a actuator for high-low speed, so basically idle or full throttle. And why that's good is when you're up there working, you want the machine to idle down. You don't want it to be burning fuel the whole time. And it's louder and it's kind of annoying. So I might have to, let's see, I got a 15776 on that. I might pull this cover off, or before that, there's some other things. This is seized up too, so I'm gonna have to pull this nut off, pull that off, and try to loosen that up with some grease. If you could see that, the foot pedal is bolted down in full throttle, and the foot pedal is nice because what it does is lock out the controls so you don't accidentally bump something. And when you're working, pull your foot off that throttle and it'll idle down. So I don't know if he just did this for the sake of troubleshooting or not. Maybe that thing works, it's just seized up. So let's pull that bolt off. And then this, another issue is this latch here. It doesn't retract. Pull it out. I think the fuel pump's still on. I need that to go down. Yeah, like that. See if we can pump some grease in there. Because I just got locked out. That wasn't no fun. Easy. Sticking out, and I feel like I'm gonna hit my shin on it. Well, I just put 12 volts to both of the leads on this motor back here, and it's dead. It's dead. But this shouldn't be too bad. We could pull, it looks like we popped one spring pin out, these two bolts here, pull this whole motor off, and try to find a replacement. This is like a windshield wiper motor probably, so shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I think the motor's smoked. And this is all just an Acme screw. I mean, this is, a lead screw. So that's good. I thought it was a linear actuator. This is actually nice. It's probably pretty fast. It has to idle up, pretty fast. We gotta change this oil too. I need a new oil filter. We're getting there. This wiring's pretty bad in here. There's some stuff, just open ends. Alternator's got some crazy stuff going on. But yeah, so I think I'll pull this off now and then maybe just tie that full throttle back up and keep running it and see what else I find. Well, I found another thing I really need to do to this, and that's enable starting it from up in the air. Because even if I don't get the idle fixed, I could at least shut it off and it'll hold pressure and then kick it back on. So there is a start switch in there. This thing is a gas hog. It already drained a good bit and I don't want it to suck up on the bottom of the tank, so I'm gonna have to get more gas. It's probably an 1/8 full right now, so. But heck, we got another window done. That's good. Just did the first test. The battery died on that. Everything worked pretty good. I definitely have some things I want to be able to start it. Check the electric up here so I can run like paint sprayers and stuff. This wheel, the planetaries, I think are all broke because it like binds up. sometimes it doesn't make any noise, sometimes it just grinds, and it just grinded when I did that. So, and then I almost ran out of gas. I'm glad I stopped. I was trying to keep going. There's the sight line here, but I had it up maybe to here, and now it's completely gone. Some of that might be the angle, but I am pitched forward right now, so it's guzzling gas. So I think it probably needs a tune up. Maybe clean the carb, new spark plugs. And then I definitely need to get it to idle down. It's not meant to run at full tilt there. So I got to get a new thing for that, but heck, it just worked. Like $1,000 Manlift. Like I might have, I don't know. It was like $1,300, and then I did a job to get it to come here. So we won't count that. And then hydraulic fluid and hoses, I probably have $500 into it. So $1,800, so $2,000. So $2,000 Manlift, depending on how you look at it. Not too bad. If I can just get that other wheel, I am a little worried about that up in the mud up there. I am gonna get gravel, but still. But heck, I think it should build a building. We'll put it through its paces and we'll see how she does. All right, so we're gonna change these plugs out on the Manlift. I did just get new ones. They're the same ones that were in there. They are Champion UD 16s. Yeah, UD 16s. It had a little bit of a sputter on idle, so I figure why not, right? 7/8 socket. Check the gap, even though it's probably lesser than it should be. That actually looks consistent with what's on there. These actually aren't too bad. They're a little burnt. Put a little bit of anti-seize on them. Just a little bit. Try not to get that all over myself. The other side's going to be a little bit harder. And we'll put a little dielectric grease on the cap. A little rusty in there. Alright, this one. I didn't even know this top opened up, but yeah, so that's sick. I was just looking at some of my choke cables. Looks like that spring down there is pretty stretched out. We're gonna leave it all for now. There's also some like louvering here, carburetors there. The other two spark plugs are back here, but I can't really show you guys, so it's the same process as the air side. I'm just gonna do it over here. So pull this plug off and get her done. I'm going to pull off this fuel line and drain it into my waste gas tank. See if we get any crap out of it. It'd be better if I put it into like a milk jug. Could do that. See if I can get a milk jug. Alright, gonna check a few things here. Oh, there is a petcock drain for the fuel right there. I'm gonna run it today because I'm like a third full now, so. Alright, we'll drain that next time. There's this horn. I want to see if it works. Should ground through this frame here. leads and everything are a little nasty. Well, I hate to have it flopping around in there, so at least we're gonna put it on right there. And then I want to test this power lead because I want to run a sander on the top. Yeah, I'm kind of mad about that fuel thing. I really wanted to drain the tank. You can buy a new end for this. Looks like it hasn't been used for a while. It's painted. Alright, see what happens. Plugged in. It works. Just checked it with the battery charger. Heck yeah! This control panel has a bunch of old screws. See if we can get a few more in here. Alright, so I want to get this hole patched for the winter so that no animals go in there. Nothing special here, just functional. Some other things I never looked at were this air cleaner. It's stuck right now. But greasing this thing, there's these grease zerks here, but it seems that some of them don't work, so I think I gotta raise that up. I'm gonna raise that up and check it. There's a few more zerks down here. See if I can find them all. There's one in here, but it might need to get pulled out. Alright, I'm gonna fire this up so we can grease it. See how much better the fresh fuel and new spark plugs helps it run. I'm gonna choke it. working on the Manlift, and one thing I've been meaning to do is crack this hydraulic tank loose on the bottom. My theory is there's water in there. If not water, at least there's some milky stuff we want to get out of there. So I'm going to grab a bucket and an extension for a 1/2-inch drive, and we're just going to crack it loose. I don't want to lose all the fluid, but I want to be able to see if I can get some water out, and then I bought another 5 gallons to put in it. So let's give it a shot. Alright, so I also let this machine sit for about a week. Hopefully that, which way? Left to Lucy. Hopefully that allows all the water and everything to sit on the bottom, so. I gotta be able to get this back in there quickly, so I think the idea is use this thing. Come on, why is that not? Alright, let's see what schmoo comes out. Well, there was a little bit of water, but I can't get it back in now. Woo! Well, I know we got a little bit of water. There's probably 50 gallons in there, so I'm gonna have to change my clothes now. I was trying to get it to trickle, you know? Just a little trickle. But no. I need a shower now. Well, I'm glad I got it on film. Get some oil dry real quick. Okay. Always exciting here at the dirt shop. Alright, so I bought some of this heat. It's supposed to take water out of fuel. It was bogging a bit. This treats like 20 gallons, so I'm only going to put half in. I don't have too much in here. I think I burned like a quarter tank one day, running for like a half hour, so that's why I changed the plugs. Yeah, I'm hoping if I can get that motor this week to figure out the idle down part of it, it'll at least idle, and we won't get Alright, so I just ran this for probably half hour. Burned a lot of gas for sure. Now it's nice and warm. We're going to drain the oil. Oil drain is right there. Here's what filter was on it. I switched this to a Wix. I'll get you the part number when we get that. So let's clean up this this plug a little bit. It's one of those square plugs. Heat it up to, let's see if we can, what does that happen? 7/16. Alright, we're gonna heat this up a little bit without melting any wires. Oh, that might be. Try not to set anything else. Just round her off, yep. I don't think I have one of those square sockets. They do sell them. A leak somewhere, so I stalled it out. Had to use the auxiliary pump, and I got a little leak, and then I got stuck here because I'm still one wheel peel. So hopefully some of that'll give me some grip. Alright, so I don't want to round that off anymore. So I ended up buying one of those 4-point sockets for that. It was $8. I'll put a link below. But we'll change the oil tomorrow. I also bought new fuel line, and I got a new filter, so we'll change that out. Hopefully that helps it a little bit. And so yeah, let me clean this up, and then let's fire it up and see if we see this leak again, which is kind of concerning to me a little bit. I'm hoping it's just from the auxiliary cylinder. Looks like it's wet in here, so this line is broken. Yeah, that's the one I want to change. You can kind of see it rip right there. Not today, but we'll get that changed, and then I'm gonna put something on that edge so it doesn't rub as much. We're still like dialing this thing in. I mean, it's got all kinds of crazies, and then this motor should come this week too, so hopefully should be running good soon. We're back on the Manlift, and we have a new motor, and let's see if the wiring's gonna work. I have a theory that the wiring's not gonna work, but maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. So bought this off Servo City. Made this little adapter plate. Don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try. And I tapped it for 2 set screws. Gotta grease this shaft a bit. I'll get some white lithium on there. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't have high hopes, but now the other setup had a through bolt roll pin through the middle of the drive motor, but I was worried about that hardened shaft, so I'm going to try the set screws first to the motor. So I'm going to do just alligator clips for now, and we'll see if it works. I guess I need to undo my wire tie. And if this doesn't work, it's possible it needs reversed. That says positive, so we'll try. We'll see if it is positive. Okay. Let's see what happens. It should be idled down now. Maybe it doesn't work if it's not running. Well, we messed up. That motor doesn't have enough torque to spin this acme thread. What a bummer. I saw it trying. It was like twisting. Maybe you guys saw that, but even with the gearbox on there, I don't know. I thought I spec'd it correctly, but I didn't. Try putting some grease on it, but if it doesn't even budge it, then it's not, there's no way. So. Alright, back to the drawing board. Alright, so I was just running the Manlift and I found another leak. It's this piston here that tilts the basket. So that's good. That should be relatively easy to access, and we can pull that out and get it rebuilt at some point because it's leaking a little bit. One of the bigger problems is I'm just like burning rubber here. You can see on my tracks from the single tire only having power, so that one doesn't have power and the wheel like locks up. So I'm guessing there's something wrong with the planetary. That's why I was disconnected. So I think I'm gonna unbolt that, maybe even today. But right now I just want to do an oil change. So I got my 7/16 square drive, and let's see if we can not strip this out this time and actually get this thing off of here. So. That was worth $8 for sure. Oh, yep. I'm glad we're doing this. A little bit of water. I ran it way too long on that water. Well, that's why we did this. Had a little bit of water in it. And try to judge how much is in there. Yeah, there's a lot of water in there. Should have changed that a while ago. I probably put 10 hours on it. Oh well. You could tell it has water because it's like skirting across the surface. No metal on the magnet though, so that's good. So we'll let that drain for a minute, throw the new guy on there. Alright. Let that drain. Get some rags, we'll clean that up. Alright, so here's the Wix filter I'm putting back on there. Online it said it was an equivalent. 51050. Because no one likes Fram. I don't know why. I just get yelled at when I use Fram. So yeah. Huh, it's weird there's no holes here. Why is that? You know what? I am not liking that. Fuck. Why would it? I don't know the difference between a bypass oil filter. Seems like it's not going to drain down fast enough. Bypass oil filter. Don't like it. Seriously, nothing's easy anymore. Everything I do. Well, I guess I might just go to Napa tomorrow and see what they say. Alright, well I was all bummed about that oil filter, but I do have new fuel filter and 25 feet of fuel line. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll drain it down. We're going to tie it to, hopefully that doesn't siphon. I'm going to go crack the other side. Alright, so the fuel pickup tube is right here, and I'm glad I changed this because I just put those pliers on it. And I would say, even though the inner shield's still good, I think we were ready for some new fuel line. So also really glad I'm doing this. The idea is I'm going to pull this through, pull one of these sides through, like pull that whole roll through by taping it to the other one. And I'm going to have to get a knife on that and cut that off there. So alright, it was starting to pull from the other side. It's harder than it looks because the cable keeps like deteriorating, but hopefully we don't get any crap in it. That's the main goal. So I'm going to triple tape this. Didn't work. I was going to say, it actually probably has enough gas in the carburetor where I can lift it up real quick, but we don't have any oil in it. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. I might call myself defeated for today on this. Basically, I can't do anything until I lift up the boom, so I need oil, and then so I think we will pack it up. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow's a new day. I ended up buying the same Fram filter that was on there. Didn't like the way that Wix one didn't. It was for like a oil transfer system. It didn't have these holes here. I was concerned about it being upside down, so got a new one. Alright, let's fill it up. I have no idea how much it takes. Probably clean that at some point. And I'm putting 10W30, just regular oil in there. I might get a filter or a funnel. No idea how much it takes, but we'll get at least half in and we'll check it. Alright, now the next thing we gotta do is get a fuel line on this. I'm just gonna run one. Alright, so we got the new line fished through here. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna make a new piece for this, but let's get our length figured out. These cutters work really good for this stuff. For plumbing. I'm gonna cut a new one for here too. Let's test it out.
one's replaced. Oh, that's acceptable.